Hello there, you're watching 7 Days. I'm Zack Yusof here with a quick recap of some of the week's top stories. At the top of the show, a Pennsylvania judge refused to dismiss a sexual assault case against Bill Cosby on Wednesday, setting the stage for the first criminal prosecution of the once celebrated comedian, who's for years denied allegations of assault by dozens of women. The decision was a loss for the 78-year-old entertainer, who for decades was beloved by U.S. television audiences for his family-friendly brand of humor. Cosby's attorneys had tried to convince the Pennsylvania judge that their client could not be prosecuted due to an agreement reached with the former Montgomery County District Attorney more than a decade ago. However, they never produced a written agreement to that effect. Now, more than 50 women have accused Cosby of sexually assaulting them in attacks dating back to the 1960s, and several civil lawsuits have been filed against him, though many of the incidents are too old to prosecute. Now, Cosby could be sentenced to up to 10 years in prison if convicted. I tell you what, very much a case of watch this space, this story. Okay, moving along, on Monday, front-running Republican candidate Donald Trump took the stage in Iowa after he was introduced by Sarah Palin with Adele's Rolling in the Deep playing in the background. However, British singer Adele was not impressed and made it clear that she has not given permission for anyone to use her music for political campaigns. Adele's spokesman issued a statement about the matter, but didn't say whether Adele, whose new album 25 was the biggest seller in the United States last year, was contemplating legal steps to prevent the unauthorized use of her music. Of course, Adele is far from being the only pop or rock star to have seen politicians co-opt their music for political purposes. I'll tell you what, good on you, Adele, we say. Now, if it were Bernie Sanders using the tune instead, well, that's a different matter altogether. Staying with the U.S. presidential race, U.S. Senator Ted Cruz beat billionaire Donald Trump in Iowa's Republican presidential nominating contest on Monday, dealing a massive upset to the national frontrunner in the race to be their party's White House nominee in 2016. Cruz, a conservative lawmaker from Texas, won with 28% of the vote compared to 24% for businessman Trump, according to MSNBC. Marco Rubio, a U.S. Senator from Florida, came in third place with 23%, making him easily the leader amongst establishment Republican candidates. In the Democratic race, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton held a slim lead over rival Bernie Sanders, a self-described Democratic Socialist U.S. Senator from Vermont. Okay, coming up, a convicted killer whose daring escape last year from an upstate New York prison triggered a massive 3-week manhunt, received a maximum sentence on Wednesday after apologizing in court for his actions. David Sweat pleaded guilty to 2 counts of escape and 1 of promoting prison contraband back in November, 5 months after he was shot and captured about 2 miles from the Canadian border. Sweat and fellow inmate Richard Matt broke out of the maximum security Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora, New York on the 6th of June using hacksaw blades hidden in frozen hamburger meat as part of an elaborate escape plan. A federal agent shot and killed Matt on the 26th of June, 2 days before a state trooper shot Sweat twice. Now, the escape prompted hundreds of law enforcement officers to spend weeks on end searching the heavily wooded region around the prison. Sweat's new sentence, which could be as long as 14 years, is largely a formality since he is already serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole for killing a law enforcement officer after a robbery. Coming up next, the World Health Organization has declared the mosquito-borne Zika virus to be an international public health emergency due to its link to thousands of suspected cases of birth defects in Brazil. WHO Director General Margaret Chan told reporters on Monday that coordinated international action was needed to improve detection and speed work on a vaccine and better diagnostics for the disease, although curbs on travel or trade were not deemed necessary. The emergency designation was a recommendation by a committee of independent experts to the UN agency following criticism of a hesitant response so far. Now, the move should help fast-track international action and research priorities. Fantastic stuff there. Finally, the world's largest mass human migration continued on Thursday as Beijing residents rushed to catch a train back home to celebrate the Lunar New Year with their families. Now, the 40-day travel frenzy surrounding the week-long Lunar New Year holiday, which is often described as the world's biggest annual migration of people, began on the 24th of January this year and will last until the 3rd of March. Now, during this period, the estimated total volume of passengers is expected to reach more than 2.91 billion, up by 3.6% year on year, said the National Development and Reform Commission, or the NDRC, China's top economic planner. China's state broadcaster CCTV reported that the peak of the migration was due to occur on Thursday, as more than 8.3 million train journeys were expected to be made across the country on the day. Wow, that is a lot of people indeed. And on that note, I'm wishing you a very happy New Year to all our Chinese viewers. So until next time, have yourself a great week.